Energy, mood, sugar cravings are all key things when it comes to having a successful day and maintaining and achieving body transformation results. So today you're going to join me in already a busy day and understanding how I actually be able to maintain decent energy levels throughout the day. So I'm always making sure that I'm not getting them drops in sugar and then feeling awful throughout the day and then missing training, because like sugar cravings and drops in energy, these don't just happen, these happen as a direct result of what we put into our body. Like this morning, it has already been a busy morning, and that could be immediately an excuse to not do the things that I'm going to explain now in this vlog, because it's so important that we master everything. Now today I've got up, I had to look after my son while my wife took my daughter to an appointment. I've had to do more work this morning. Then I'm jumping straight in the car. We're going down to High Lane to film content with Emma, who's won this year's £1,000 cash prize. We're then having a bit of something to eat. I'm going straight down to Ashbourne and filming 2 interviews with new members and how they're finding their experience of Ashbourne. At the end of the day, I'm going to train as well. Now I've got a very switched on day. I need to be switched on. I need to be feeling productive. I need to be feeling good. And I also need to be able to train right at the end of the day, because these busy days are when we use that excuse to think, I've got a busy day, even though it's even more important that you get all these little factors right. So throughout this vlog, I'm going to tell you how to master your energy so that you can actually have a very busy day, very successful day, make better decisions, and always have the energy to train and eat well. So enjoy. So there's plenty of mistakes that people make when they're actually planning the day of how to stay full of energy and then still have the time to make sure that they're still hitting their training session and still staying on point with the nutrition. So one of the, a really weird excuse for me is like thinking that people won't have certain meals because they haven't got a microwave or you haven't got certain things to warm things up. Now, if that is the case, then there's going to be lots of times that happens in your life, and if we're constantly then going to the shop to get things that are on the go, foods that are very hyper palatable that make us want to eat more and more, and we're not putting the effort into just maybe having 1 or 2 meals that aren't ideally not warmed up. Like today, I've got no microwave, I can't warm things up, but it's so important that I still stick to my nutrition plan, because that's what's going to give me my energy. By going to the shop and getting excess calories that don't really do anything, I'm going to get that lump and that slump and that I can't be bothered, and it's a byproduct of what we're actually doing and the dedication that we're having to ourselves and our body transformation. Now today's food is my same simple food. Now I've actually been following a different diet plan, which I may talk about later on in the day, but generally I eat more good fats, make sure that it's usually more fatty fish, especially on days like today. Definitely no carbohydrates, 0 carbohydrates today. Even though I'm training later on in the day, there will be 0 carbohydrates, because that was something that will definitely make me more relaxed. It'll make me a little bit more sluggish. It'll make me sort of just get them drops of energy and just not help me focus. Carbs inherently will give me a little bit more brain fog, and I'm not going to be able to perform at the best that I want to be. So this is really important. My protein is high, but usually get it from more either fatty meats or fatty fish, so it helps me sort of focus. Generally I don't eat too much cheese, but I definitely have cheese on days like today as well, when I want to be keeping my energy nice and simple. So that would be my advice, is making sure that I still have my 3 meals a day. I've still prepared my meals, I've got nowhere to warm it up, but it doesn't really matter. I make sure that I have 0 carbohydrates, I still have plenty of vegetables, and get generally my protein and my fats from oily fish and maybe a little bit of cheese on days when I want to be really focused, and that's what I've got prepared for today. So let's talk about caffeine. So caffeine is going to have a very important role in your energy throughout the day, and your energy being consistent, and then no drops and then you failing on your diet or anything, or your training, etc. So if you watched my videos for a while ago, I actually cut out caffeine completely, and I did that for quite a while, and I felt like this is probably where I'm up to with caffeine now. Is I felt like there was something I needed back into me, just for days where you need a little pick me up, and my energy was so much better, it was so much more consistent. If you haven't watched that, do watch that video. It's still a lot of the points are still very valuable, and I still follow them now to this day. So, but I found with caffeine, I felt like I needed something. So what I did is I start to bring coffee back in. I found this really light, not like normal coffee, but it's like a mushroom extract which had like 30-40 milligrams of caffeine in. So it was really give you slow, steady energy rather than giving you a big burst of energy. So I found that was okay at the start. But if you watch that video, as I've got a really addictive personality, you slowly start to creep more of it back in. So I started to add in more into my morning brew and then taking a flask, and then Costa started to creep back in again. And before I knew it, I was consuming more caffeine than what I originally not originally ever did, but I was getting back up there as well. So I decided probably about 3 months ago that again I was going to cut down completely on caffeine, but not cut out caffeine, right? What I decided to do was just have cups of tea and actually stop coffee, because I sometimes need to put a ban on something that is having a negative impact. So like I try to bring coffee down, and then as soon as I brought it back in, it slowly went back up. So I decided now to completely cut out coffee, so I don't drink coffee at all, and I just drink tea. So I have a cup of tea when I wake up in the morning. Some days if I'm feeling like it, I'll have 2 cups of tea, but then generally it'll just be 1. That's enough to pick me up in the morning. And there is sort of lots of argument to say that after that first little pick me up in the morning, arguably you don't need any more to help you unless you're a performing athlete and trying to do something regards to performance in the gym. So this is what has worked massively for my energy. I get that little pick me up in the morning, but my energy stays consistent now throughout the day, and I don't like crave caffeine. I don't get that drops in energy, because when I'm having too much caffeine, I procrastinate more, you get anxious over weird, stupid things, you don't feel the best you can, and then you get this slump at the end of the day, and then you just wait until you get the next caffeine hit, and that's what I didn't like about caffeine. But I've realised that I do need it a little bit. So just having that cup of tea in the morning, literally all I've had this morning, is going to help my energy consistently now by not having any carbohydrates, still having my fats, and that is really a good point when it comes to consistent energy throughout the day. So imagine winning £1,000 just to transform your body. All our members at THQ, when they go through the transformation process, they're all in the running to win the THQ £1,000 cash prize challenge. And today we're going to go and talk to Emma Gaskell, who's the latest winner of the £1,000 cash prize. She's a THQ High Lane member, and we're going to talk to you today about her journey of the run up to actually winning the end of year cash prize. We're going to talk about how much weight she's lost. We're going to talk about how different her clothes sizes, how she feels physically, how she feels mentally, and how she's actually got paid for doing it. So this is going to be a really interesting interview, and just to show how we try to sort of, one, reward our members with actually giving them results, but then recognizing the people that have gone the extra mile and put in the extra effort to really have an incredible transformation, so we can give them a £1,000 cash prize and they can inspire other people like yourself to do the same. So we're arriving at High Lane now, so let's go and talk to Emma. So I've just finished up my dinner, and if anyone sort of watched my videos before, you'll know how important I think it is to actually have your body transformation inside as well as outside. And I think it's so important that you need to understand what's going on and constantly have a blood work done. I have my blood work done all the time, and a lot of people know that I have got like a genetically high cholesterol, and I'm always looking at ways to sort of adapt my diet to sort of overcome this, and making sure I stay lean, fit and healthy as well, and it does keep my cholesterol levels at a normal rate, shall we say. But one thing I started to look into recently was the Mediterranean diet, which is just like oily fish, nuts and seeds, and historically these are, because I've never really had massive amounts of support from general practitioners in doctors. Really, I've had enough of like support as in like my blood test done and medication and stuff, but really understanding it a little bit deeply, it's always been down to myself, and then taking the decision to adapt a different approach to something is takes quite guts to do that, I find, and this is why I want to give people inspiration to do that themselves. So I've historically always had generally a lower fat diet because of the impact that had on my cholesterol. Well, I thought it had on my cholesterol in certain foods, but it was just certain foods that was higher in fat that was negatively impacting my cholesterol. So I started to adapt to Mediterranean diet, so my saturated and my fat intake pretty much trebled overnight. So I've been having more saturated fat than ever before. I'm having more good fats than ever before. And I recently had my blood tests done probably in the start of December. Halfway through December, and I had them done, and I was really nervous about actually having them done because I approached this new diet, so I was having more saturated fat than what I ever had before. And, this is something that I was always told to stay away from, and I did it, and my cholesterol levels was actually better than they've ever been before, and it was absolutely a massive breakthrough for me. So because this Mediterranean diet is the fats that I'm having allows me to be switched on as much as I can all day. So I generally just have just have oily fish, nuts and seeds, and I don't eat half as much as meat as what I used to. Now I still do eat lots of meat. I still do eat meat at weekends, and we do need. I feel that I still do need a lot of meat. Well, not a lot of meat, but still have meat regular in my diet, just how I feel mentally and just for the amino acids profile, for my performance, for my muscle, just everything really. I still think it's very important. However, having generally my daily habits are just fish, and my blood work's actually been amazing, my concentration is even better, and I generally feel great as well. And I just think this new approach is really working for me. So what I want people to understand as well is just have your blood work done, understand what's going on inside as well, and constantly assess what's actually working for you, so you actually find the best body transformation process is going, because it's only you that can do the work on yourself and understand what's going on so you can maintain these results long term. So let's jump back in the car, let's head over to, me and Alex just going to stop at the shop. Alex is going to get some dinner. I've just had my dinner, then we're going to go straight to Ashbourne, film a little bit more content, do 2 more interviews, and then I'm going to train as well. So let's go. Let's have a quick word on sleep. Now, sleep is obviously vital. If you wake up and you've not had a good night's sleep, no matter what you do with your food, training, you're never going to really optimally achieve the results that you want to achieve. Not because obviously there is lots of magical benefits around the body of actually getting optimal sleep, of course, but I don't really want to talk about it now. I want to talk about your feelings and your mood, and if you haven't got enough sleep, then nothing is going to be worked right and nothing is going to be on point. So you always have to assess. You can't just expect to have a good night's sleep. There's so much thing that can take us away from a good night's sleep. It's food, blue lights, phones, watching TV. There's so many things that can distract us and impact our sleep, that you have to recognise what gives you a good bad sleep and what gives you good sleep and what gives you bad sleep. I am constantly journaling about little things that can help me sleep. I'm probably a light sleeper. I probably don't naturally go to sleep, but now I've got this routine now over years of chopping and changing things, that I generally fall to sleep, when I try to fall to sleep, probably within about 10 minutes. One of my main tips I can give you is buy blue blocking glasses, not the cheap ones you get off Amazon for 30 quid. They're not blocking anything. It's the actual decent blue. It's called Blue Top, or I'll if anyone wants me to send the link, I'll send you the link. I can't remember what it's called, but they're probably about £120, but they're absolutely the best thing I have ever bought when it comes to protecting my sleep, because I can put these blue blocking glasses on, and they stop all the blue light and everything that keeps us awake, with our devices. They can stop. You put them on probably in the evening time, about 6 or 7, and you can still go on your phone then. You can still watch, because I was finding that my wife liked to watch TV in her bedroom, which I wasn't keen on having a TV in her bedroom. But now I've got my blue light blocking glasses. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. I can still get a good night's sleep as soon as that TV's turned off. So they've been absolutely game changing for that. They really have, because I can even look on my phone. I could read an article, and that will help me fall asleep because I'm actually not stopping the blue light. So I would highly recommend that. I would highly recommend looking at your nutrition. So what I found is limiting vegetables, limiting protein towards the evening for my tea, and having a higher carbohydrate meal such as oats. I have a big bowl of oats probably about an hour before bed. That really does have a positive impact in my sleep. I know I have to avoid like processed meats, because processed meats or sweeteners, like lots and lots of sweeteners, because they sort of give me insomnia as well. Because if you ever had that night that you just toss and turn and you just can't, there's no particular reason, you've just got a normal day, normal working day or whatever the next day, but you just can't get to sleep, this is when we should look at that and not just think that is a thing. We should look at that, why is that happening? Every time I've done that, this is how I've got every time I've had a bad night's sleep, I've analysed it. I've like, what I've had, I've researched it, and this is why I know the things that I need to avoid. And these are why this is why I've sort of mastered my sleep. So I would highly recommend that when next time you have a bad night's sleep, look at exactly what you've been having nutritionally, look at exactly what you've been doing physically, and that will have an impact on your sleep and your performance the next day. Okay, so we're nearly getting to Ashbourne now. So at the end of this vlog, I'm going to show, after the interviews, we're going to do a bit of a training session. So I can show you what I'm doing with my training as well, and how I've sort of able to maintain my feeling now all day, if having worked all day, to then still having a good training session. So my current training split is, I probably weight train the least now, probably just currently, because I really increased it in December. So I'm probably doing about 3 weight training sessions a week, so 3 full body workouts, and then my additional sessions, sometimes I do 4, because I try to do 3 for as long as I can, just to recover a bit, but I love it that much, it does creep back in. So but currently I'm doing about 3. I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu once a week. Me and Ryan do that. And then I'm making sure that I'm like getting my 10,000 to 15,000 steps in a day on days I don't train, so I'm going on specific walks as well. So that's sort of a good split for me for the time being. And then probably some weeks I'll have 4 training sessions, maybe 5, and then I bring it down to 3 a week. So that's my sort of what I find helps me maintain my results. Okay, so just before we pull up, actually, I want to look at a quick word on relating goals to actually day-to-day life. So we have a lot of people that achieve very good transformations, and yes, they do maintain their results. And what I have to try to make sure that everybody understands, and what like you guys should understand that are watching this now, is that whenever you achieve a goal, and this is myself included as well, is that you've created lots of healthy habits that has achieved a certain outcome. So you've started to sit down and eat decent meals 3 times a day. You've always started to train on a weekly basis. You don't eat on the go and things like that. Like, you have these healthy habits, right? Yes, but when you're following a strict goal, you have cut out maybe meals out, maybe too much alcohol, maybe like Crisp chocolate, sweets and biscuits. Maybe you've cut out a lot of these things. And yes, you can bring them things back in once we achieve a goal. However, the only way people go backwards, and the only way people start to put weight on, is if they stop to do the healthy habits, not because they've started to go out a little bit more and have a few little bit more treats than what they used to, because we've built up a capacity that we can have meals out, holidays and not go backwards, eat a bit more crisp chocolate, sweets and biscuits. We've built up that capacity, but preparing your meals 3 times a day, making sure that you're attending the gym 3 times a week, making sure that you're not overeating on rubbish constantly. Like, all these habits, they still have to be in there. So my daily habits now are pretty much exactly the same from when I first started to really make a good transformation progress and started to really transform my body in a positive way. These habits I had to really knuckle down and spend 45 minutes a day filtering my water and prepare my meals for the next day. Like, I had to do that, but I still have to do that now. I still have to maintain all these healthy habits. But yes, I can have meals with my wife, meals with my kids, little bits of treats. I can go on a weekend away and not go backwards. I can do all these things, but that doesn't mean that I can ever stop putting in the effort on a daily basis with training and food. That's very important to understand when it comes to maintaining results. We're pulling up in Ashbourne now, so yeah, let's get to it, and I'll see you in the training room. What's the point? My body won't be able to do that Ladies, how many times have you thought that about yourself and about your ability inside of a gym? But really, it's all up here, and it's the mindset that we need to overcome that to achieve results. However, you need a good, supportive, uplifting atmosphere and uplifting environment to be able to do that. I totally understand that. So today, I'm going to break down how exactly you can do that. Finding that belief in yourself. Now, we're about to go in to do an interview with THQ member Julie, and she has finally found that belief in herself. She really struggled to understand that the goals that she wanted to achieve was actually achievable, and then have somebody in her corner to push her, saying, do you know what, you can do this and you are on the right path. And Julie's now mastered her mindset, and she does have the ability now to continue with a body transformation, to set goals and achieve goals. And exactly how she's been able to do that, well, let's go and listen to her now. She's very kindly offered to sit down with us for 10 minutes and explain her experience with THQ so far. So let's go and speak to Julie. I find the gym very daunting. Everybody is going to look at me that I'm doing it wrong. That is very common in a lot of men. This is why we think it's so important in THQ that we provide an environment and an atmosphere that it doesn't matter what you're doing. Yes, you're coached to make sure you're doing it correctly, but when you look around you, nobody's bothered what you're doing. Everybody's bothered what their selves are doing. How are they improving? Are they doing the very best you can? Because that is all that we want for all our members, to put 100% effort in. Doesn't matter what ability or what level we're at, there's no egos. Everybody is just putting 100% effort in and getting what they want out of it. So today, we're going to drop in and talk to a long-term THQ Ashbourne member, Liam. He's been a member for a while now, and he's made some incredible results. So we'll go inside, have a chat with him, and there's a few little points I want to bring up too. Right, so we're just wrapping up like quite a long day now, so got half an hour, 45 minutes to have the best workout I can. Because my nutrition's been on point, because I've felt good, I felt focused, I've had decent sleep, I'm ready to train now as if I've just pretty much been chilling all day, never mind just I've had a busy day. So these are why it's so important to really focus on what we're putting in our body, and then you're ready to train pretty much any time. Because guess what? You're never going to have, especially with jobs, kids and life, there's never going to be a perfect day to have a workout session. It's what you put in yourself. That's the key to having a good session. So doing like, you ever felt like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to have like decent habits, like live a healthy lifestyle. Like, it's because currently, if you're sort of out of shape, that's what your habits and that's what your environment, and that's why you find doing a healthy habit hard to do. But the more that we do these healthy habits, the more it accumulates, and then it's easier, and you'd find it impossible to pick up too many bad habits, because being lean complements being lean. Because when you're leaner, guess what? You actually probably need less calories, you're probably less hungry, you actually perform better, you feel better, you sleep better. So all these things, these healthy habits I've been talking about in this vlog, like, it gets easier when you are leaner. Like when you're on the process to it, of course it's hard, because you're used to putting crap into your body, you're used to not moving, you're used to not exercising. So all these things get so much easier the more we get into them as well. That's always a good point to take into consideration. Okay, so a word on my training now. Like I say, I'm doing 3 full body workouts a week. That's what I'm currently doing. So, because I was really training lots in December, so I've really sort of scaled back the training just to 3 times a week, just for a bit. And like now, I'm still doing it as intense as I possibly can do. So sometimes listening to the music timings, sometimes doing drop sets, supersets, and this is what I'm going to do currently right now. Just doing 3 exercises back to back because I'm limited. We're in Ashbourne strength room. We slowly build the equipment in the strength room as the business grows. So at the minute, this is probably the least amount of equipment that's in here. So I'm just doing the best what I can. I've got the bench out, so I'm doing bench press, straight into chest flies, straight into press up. So because of the weight, because I've been training 10 years now, this weight is obviously not enough if I was doing single sets. So I'm just going to do a tricep, so it's just adapting to what you've got. So good little workout for you to do in the strength room. 3 sets, back to back, pump it out, gets that intensity going, but also helps us focus on a particular body part. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up now. It's been a pretty steady day really, a bit of a long day. So I've done about 10 hours work, probably about 7 hours just going in about filming bits and stuff and doing bits and bobs. So it's been a busy day. Obviously I've still ate well and I've still got my training in at the end of the day, which is important, and that's why I wanted to film a busy day for you, to explain it is possible to still get in shape when you're on the go. You just have to be disciplined with your habits, and hopefully you've learned it's not just one good meal, it's not just one good training session, it's a combination of your whole attitude towards your body transformation, which is going to get you results, and not just results for the short term, results for the long term. But you have to be committed day in, day out, and that never changes. So guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.